Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, Joey Lone, and in this episode, I've brought on regular Eric Taylor, who will join momentarily. And as for our guest, he's from Michigan. He is an author, and he's currently writing on his first novel titled Tom's Revenge. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you James Webb.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
So, how's life?
Good. Life's real good. It's been cold here in Michigan, here in the U.S., but you know, that's winter, right?
Okay, cool. Have you been up too much recently?
Just working on getting this book promoted and starting on the second one.
Nice. So, when did you start to think about becoming an author?
Well, I'm 41 years old. I started writing when I was back in the eighth grade and just been writing off and on for years and just finally decided to see if I can make it as actually get something published.
Cool. And was being an author had always been your dream job, or have you thought about going into other jobs as a child?
Actually, I wanted to be a chef.
Oh, okay. Anything in particular that made you want to become a chef?
The creating. I absolutely love creating new things. So my extent of being a chef is at home cooking for my family with my wife.
Great. So, and you is this something that you want to do a few years from now? Like, even when you're old, you still want to keep writing books as an author?
Yes, I absolutely love doing it. I I love creating and being the master of a world I create.
Great.
At least that's one
So,
place I have control over, right?
yeah, of course. Uh, so, do you travel often?
I have I haven't traveled in a few years. We uh we moved to Michigan from we spent 3 years in Germany when I was in the service, and then when we got out, we moved back. We moved to Michigan and taken a few small trips here and there over the years, but nothing major yet.
Okay. What was it like when you were living in Germany?
Absolutely gorgeous. I loved being in communities that were older than the country I'm from.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I'd say the same.
I when I was in the army, they taught me that they gave me a bus driver's license and had me drive the bus around, and
Okay.
that was an experience of having to maneuver a big bus through city streets that were not designed for automobiles.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think public transport is a lot more efficient way of getting around. And of course, walking in the city centre in most pedestrianised streets is also the way to go. It also helps with combating climate change and creating a much friendlier atmosphere and community, you know?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and Europe has some of the best public transportation systems in the world. From your
Absolutely. So, which recent news stories have you found most interesting?
new or news?
News.
Oh, right now it's just watching this thing going on in was it Russia and Ukraine.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Honestly, I don't get it. Why is this even a big deal? Why can't people just get along and put all of this nonsense behind?
Well, when you get somebody like him who wants to rebuild the Soviet Union, I guess you can't stop.
Yeah, I, that's something I'm hearing from a lot of people, and it kind of makes sense. I see where this is going.
Yeah. But I tell you what, at least it takes the media away from the coronavirus.
True.
So I guess it's something
It's
I have to
somewhat
work.
somewhat effective.
Yeah. Uh,
Did you
but
have any role? Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was gonna say at least soon the world's gonna get back to somewhat normality.
Yeah, I agree. Did you have any role models growing up?
Yeah, I did. I had my dad, my grandparents. Like I learned so much from my grandparents, and but as far as like other people, nah, no.
Okay, cool.
I'd actually say one of the big people that I actually really enjoyed reading about and really liked that was Churchill.
Ah, okay. Anything you found interesting most about him?
You know, I found that Churchill was kind of along the lines of kind of on the political side the same way as Patton.
Interesting.
He just had that demeanor of you don't mess with me, you don't mess with what I believe in, you don't mess with my country.
Okay, I see where you're coming with this. I like it. So, if your life was a meal, what kind of meal would it be?
A buffet.
Okay.
Just a
What
little bit
kind?
of just a little bit of everything. From the savory and spicy to the sweet and decadent.
Okay. All right. Cool. What do you do in your free time?
Aside from writing, I do art, take walks, hike, camp, spend time with family.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what was the most relaxing place you've been to?
You know, I would say go back in Europe.
Okay. With all the cottages and the buildings other than the country that you lived in.
Not only that, but when we lived in Germany, I seen that they were so efficient. They could get as much done in an 8-hour day with a 2-hour lunch as Americans can in a 16-hour day with a half-hour lunch.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, anyway, Eric Taylor has entered the studio. Eric, do
Yeah.
you want to ask any? Do you want to ask James Webb anything?
Yeah. Tell me about yourself. And I am so sorry. I fell asleep again.
It's fine. It happens.
Yeah.
Well, Eric,
But yeah.
I'm from I live here in Michigan with my family in the United States, and I grew up on the West Coast in Arizona, California, and Oregon. I joined the military when I was 19 years old. Got married when I was 20. Me and my wife have been married for almost 21 years. Have three beautiful, wonderful children, and taking on this new career of being an author.
Great. Incredible. So, what do you think is the best way to travel?
Depends on where you're going.
Okay. What?
I would say if here where we are, I like taking and driving our car, but I don't get on the freeways or the interstates. I love going back roads,
Okay.
getting off of the beaten path and going and seeing where the real people live.
Okay.
So sorry. I cut out. Yeah, and I couldn't hear anything.
Connection was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and I couldn't, and I was unable to hear anything. Please continue.
No, when we travel, I tend to keep us out of those areas that are highly populated and tourist trapped.
Oh, okay.
And the reason being is, between I found that when take for take for instance New York City. Everybody in the
Hmm.
world wants to go to New York City. Everybody in the world that goes to New York City thinks that everybody in the United States lives like those in New York City,
Hmm.
where
That's true.
that's not the way it is. But I found that if you get off the beaten path, get into the small communities where they don't rely on tourism for income, you get to see the real population, you get to see the real people, you get to eat the authentic meals, and you get to see the way it really is and not what they want to put forth and show tourists of what they want everybody to think we're like.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also found that 9 times out of 10, if you start in a real good conversation with somebody, you'll get home invited home with them for a home cooked meal.
Uh, oh, oh, there's two Erics now. Oh dear, he's having problems again. So anyway, what is the best way to start your morning?
Cup of coffee and a walk.
I'm sorry, what was that?
A cup of coffee and a walk.
Okay, cool.
Gotta have that morning Joe.
Love it. So, would you consider yourself to be an extrovert or an introvert?
You know, I'm a little bit of both.
How so? How so?
Well, there's just days when I just don't want to be around anybody. I just want to stay home and be reclusive. And then there's days when I just cannot stand the four walls around me and I have to get out and go see other people aside from those I live with.
I I am not both. I already know I'm an introvert. I prefer to stay home a lot. It's just I don't know. I mean, I
It's
like.
cheaper. It's
I
cheaper
mean, the
that way.
yeah, that, and I just have enjoyment staying at home. It's just because, well, I don't know. I'm used to it. Like I mean, I used to go outside a lot as a kid, but like as I got older, I just got bored of it. So it's like I stayed home. At first, it was just because outside was bothering me, but then I got used to it. I was like, you know what? I like staying upstairs. I like being to myself. So like the only people I do hang out with are my friends, but it's like, I don't really have much of those. I mean, I probably only have like two or three true friends, pretty much.
I was that same way growing up. It was we weren't allowed to be in the house unless it was absolutely a downpour or it was freezing cold out. Other than that, you were either outside or at school.
uh, so all right, so are you married?
Yep, I'm married. Me and my wife are getting ready to celebrate 21 years.
Oh, 21 years? Oh, that's a lot
Wow,
of years.
that's a lot.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's also what she said. It's long. I I'm sorry. I just had to make I just I just had to make that joke. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
Hey,
it's human.
you know what? You know what? That one never gets old.
Uh,
Yeah. Uh,
so, what was the craziest, most outrageous thing you want to achieve?
The craziest, most outrageous thing I want to achieve.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one. At some point, I'd say base jumping.
Space something.
Base jumping.
What is that anyway? I never heard of
yeah,
it in my life.
Think of
yeah,
it
me
as
neither.
skydiving without the airplane.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
okay. Let's say you know the that one tower in Dubai, that Burj Arabs
Yeah.
is like the tallest building in the world. Going to the very top of that with one of those flying squirrel suits on
Ah,
and a
okay.
parachute, jumping off the top of it employing the opening up the chute.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. Now it makes sense. You
Wow. You were brave.
jump off a building and you fly across the sea. I love that. That is classic.
Wow. You were braver than me. I could never do that. I don't think I
Well,
could ever do that.
I would want to do that in the Alps, to be honest.
that would be fun, especially
Yeah,
doing that with the set of skis on. So when you land, you just start skiing down the slope.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, you must be a really very adventurous person. I mean, is there any other crazy things you've done or want to do?
Well, I was field artillery, so we did all kinds of crazy things. Well, if I was younger, I'd say I'd want to row across the ocean, but be one of those few people that taken a rowboat across the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Life's an adventure. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
It is.
I tell my kids that I don't want them, I don't want to, and I don't want them to be on their deathbed saying, I wish I would have done this. I could have done that. I wanted to do this and everything. I said, I want to be on my deathbed. I want to be you guys to be on yours too and going, oh, damn, that was a ride.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, live with no regrets.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be on my deathbed regretting something I have never done. Like, shoot.
Yeah.
Man, some things you can get over, but like, things that you things that you can do that are in your disposal to do, and you didn't do it because you were procrastinating or just, then yeah, you'd regret.
Yeah. There's things that'd be cool to take and do, like the hike to the top of Everest, but it's not something in my purview. So if I never get to do that, I'm not going to regret it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
exactly. I mean, if it,
Yeah.
seeing other countries of the world, seeing other places, that's in my purview. And if I don't grasp that and take that opportunity to live in another country or those things, even though I've already done it, there's still more I want to see. I want to see more of Europe. I want to see countries in Asia. I want to see there's other countries around the world I want to see. And I don't want to say I wish I would have done that.
hmm. How
Yeah.
old are you?
41. So I've
Oh,
got still a
41.
long, yeah, I've still got a long time.
And yeah, that's not old. You still have a lot of life left in you. You can still see those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? My body is 41. My mind is still 20.
uh, yeah, yeah. Some people say I have an old soul, yet my mind is like still. Um, I don't know. My mind is probably still a kid. I don't know how old that kid is, but like my mind is still childish. But but also an adult. Like it's like both. It's like half and half, pretty much for me.
Yeah. Well, and for me, having that younger mindset, having that childish mindset sometimes is really benefits doing the writing. It, it gives it that opportunity have um to use that imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Also gives you an opportunity to feel your inner child. Like I like doing that. I like satisfying my inner child. I like doing that.
Yeah, I just hate that when that inner child starts throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta hate that.
Yeah.
I tell you, then you got to put them in timeout or something, and that inner child does not like that.
uh,
What What is the one thing you can't live without?
Oh, oh, there's a few. I just don't know if this is the place to say them. No, In reality, I wouldn't be able to live with that. I would go nuts if I didn't at least have pen and paper.
Pen and paper?
Yeah. The laptop could be dead and I'd still be able to write. I could resort to a stick in the dirt, but that just does not work.
Yeah. Yeah, you're one of the rare ones. I'm pretty sure everyone in my generation would be like, oh, we couldn't live without our phones or without our computers or technology and all that.
Well,
yeah, we're just so glued. We're just so glued to it.
Well, this novel here, I didn't have a computer. I wrote the whole thing by hand. When I got done, it was 250 handwritten pages.
Wow.
And then
Impressive.
and then I sat down to the computer and typed that all out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was one of those things that by the time I got done, it got sent to the printer. And there was a few times I'm like, why didn't I just kill this guy off and not do this? I got to the point where I actually hated my own book, but it was an experience that I would never. In fact, I talked to my publisher last night, and I said, it really did not hit and sink in until I got my physical copies in the mail, and I'm actually sitting there holding a tangible item, the book. That's when it sunk in as being. I had accomplished it. I am now a published author. And I told him, I said, I love the experience of the publishing, and I'm already working on the next one so I can keep that
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the whole process. It was kind of like raising a child.
Raising a child.
Yeah, you had this idea, you conceived it in your head, you got it put out, you watched it grow and mature to the point that it's now grown up, it's on bookshelves kind of thing, It's kind of like watching it progress and mature and become what it's supposed to be.
I never thought of it that way. That's it. That's an interesting way of thinking about that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Just watching your little baby. You're just watching your little baby book go from a computer
from
on a shelf.
Piece of paper into a fully laminated book.
Yeah.
Finally read on the palm of your hands.
You must have been a proud father/author, sir.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine.
What superpower do you wish you had?
Oh, if I had a superpower, what would I want to have?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. What would you want to have?
You know what? Super strength and X-ray vision.
I would either want to be invisible or have super speed. Actually, maybe.
I guess I'd want to be like Superman. I guess have that speed, the strength, the X-ray, the whole thing.
Actually, I might change it to super strength. I have pretty scrawny arms, so it's like, bro, nah.
I had a friend that he claimed he had scrawny arms too, but you know what? I found that to be his superpower. Because he could reach into spaces that nobody else could reach and get something done. Especially when working on an engine.
All right. Okay. So why did you pick those two superpowers, X-ray vision or super strength?
Well, the strength I would say is there's a lot of heavy lifting I got to do around here sometimes, and the X-ray vision was that way I can see who's on the other side of the door before I want to answer it.
That's true. Okay, yeah. Fair point.
What is your biggest fear?
To be completely honest with you, snakes. Snakes creep me out. They're just
Okay.
not natural, you know, slithering around on the ground on your belly with no appendages. It's just freaky.
Like even small baby snakes too.
Any snake, just that
Ah,
long, you know. My wife, she can handle snakes. She hates spiders. I don't mind spiders. It's
yeah.
just,
I think I have a sister who hates spiders too.
yeah, it's just spiders don't mind, you know, the extra legs and everything. That just doesn't. But having no legs, no arms, nothing, and just slithering around the ground just freaks me out.
Yeah.
So things with no legs or appendages. Appendage. I just woke up. I can't even speak right. I can't even speak right. Okay. So so things with no arms or legs creep you out then. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can see how that would freak someone out though. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not.
that goes back to the seventh grade because we had this science teacher who had this great big huge cage in there, and he had a python and boa and everything. And we're taking a test one day, and I catch movement out of the corner of my eye, and I look down, and there's this 18-foot python on the classroom floor, and it's right next to me. And what freaked is that first it's this really long, really big snake that had snuck up onto me, and I didn't even hear it, you know. And I jumped up on my desk, and everybody started laughing. He says, "Get down from there." I said, "Y'all get down when you put that thing away."
Oh,
Oh wow.
I can imagine that right now. That's yeah,
That is scary.
that's scary, but it's also hilarious. Like I could.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
looking back on it now, I laugh about it all the time. But I was like, that was just too much for me right then. I'm trying to concentrate on taking my test and look down and see this big snake.
I mean, yeah. That's a knee slapper. That's a knee slapper right there.
Yep.
Oh,
Have you ever walked into a wall by accident?
I could lie and say no, but I'm going to tell the truth and say I do it quite a bit.
Yeah, it happens.
Hey,
It happens to all
we've
of
all
us.
been there. We've all been there. I've done it too. I can't even lie, man. Like
Yeah, the doors, walls, the car. Yeah, I run into things as
holes.
I just get so wound up in my mind just thinking about something. I lose track of what I'm doing, and my wife laughs at me all the time about it. Or I trip
Mhm.
over my own 2 feet sometimes too.
Oh dear.
Oh. Hmm.
So, what is the best way to stay motivated and complete your goals?
Keeping your eye on the prize.
Okay,
You
cool.
know,
Hmm.
it's you got to keep your eyes on, looking when you walk through the tunnel. You got to keep your eyes open to look for the light at the other end. You know that, and you also know when the train's coming too. But in reality, no. I'd say it's keeping your eye on the prize and just keeping, setting small individual goals to meet the big goal.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a pretty good what's the word I'm looking for? That's a pretty good you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because it's
Yeah.
easier to accomplish a small goal than to look at the overall picture. Because I I've taken and looked at the overall picture and go, God, that's a lot. And almost start losing motivation. But then I break it down and go, if I get this done, and then I get this done, and then I get this done, pretty soon the whole thing's done and it's over with.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my problem because I'm like I want to do something, but it's like, damn, that's a lot. And next thing you know it, I'm sitting down, eating a bowl of soup, watching Peacemaker or something like that. I don't know, or watching something. Yeah, then I'm like, damn, I feel I should have done that. Or at least
That or
I
just
should at least.
either that or just imagine Gordon Ramsay standing there next to you.
Oh, like eating food while watching food. Okay, that's no, that's a. Oh, that's worse.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's all we have for this episode. It was great having you here, James, and talk about the whole life weather. It was great.
I had a great time. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to being a guest on your show again in the future.
Yep, I agree. And until next time,
Same here.
anyway, until next time, stay tuned for more.